All right, folks, welcome back. It is day 8 with HanziHero. 欢迎大家回来。今天是第八天。Looks like our reviews are starting to cluster up, right? Thanks for a little livelier stuff. Usually, HanziHero averages about an hour every single day. So far. Outside of our digressions and whatnot. In terms of the activities specifically involved, and the reviews are negligible in terms of adding to the speed because practice is practice, of course. Yeah, let's get right into it. For now, again, as a reminder, I'm in the background reviewing for the Duolingo Chinese progress report, or more or less the conclusion. And we've been doing it every other day cycle. So like tomorrow is a Duolingo Japanese day where I squeeze in a little bit of more practice to see if I see any holes. And I have till next Tuesday where I will do the 3-part Japanese review of the 100 days, and then we'll move on to the Japanese course. And then the Chinese course will be in kind of a practice mode, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna go about that at the moment. I did notice that the practice end kind of changes, but more on that later. Let's get into our HanziHero lessons. Usually they average about 2 each day, right? 5 for each set. Honey,
手工
it's very consistent the way they're going about theirs. Quite a bit different from Wanikani's approach. So, shogun, right? Shogun. Oh, okay. Yeah. Handwork. So, handwork. Handmade. Shogun. So, something handmade is created by hand, hard work, and skillful hands. Yeah. Shogun, made by hand, handwork, by hand, done by hand. Done by hand is probably the what I would have defaulted to. Handicraft, handiwork. Ooh, handiwork. I like handiwork. Huh. Lots of extra examples. Shogun. Shogun. 面包，面包很味道，
手工面包很美味。
美味。Oh no, yeah, 美味 not 味道 is 味道
手工面包很美味。
美味，很美味。
手工面包很美味。
手工面包很美味。There's mian. Oh my gosh, that's the left side of mian. So this is traditional. All the other ones are fine. From simplified. Shogun. Ooh, what the heck is that? Shogun soap? Shogun. I don't actually know what soap is. We're gonna say. What does this character feel like? Shogun. Oh, so 有手工有很爱popular
手工皂很受欢迎。
哦，手工皂
手工皂很受欢迎。
欢迎 Oh, wait, 欢迎 do I know that? Kind of. I know the ying, but oh, that's Juan. Yikes. Okay, that's Juan. 哎，欢迎。哦，
手工皂很受欢迎。
手工皂很爱欢迎。A pair of okay, 一双手工 something 做事做的 something 了
一双手工制作的袜子，
一双
一双手工制作的袜子，一双手工制作的袜子，
制作的袜子 a pair handmade socks. Oh, 袜子 is
一双手工制作的袜子，
not 了袜子 sorry 袜子 for socks. Interesting. 袜子 yeah, a pair of hand like this must be a full fat phrase. Huh. Interesting. More for later when we learn more vocabulary, I suppose. Oops. So let's refresh our mnemonics, right? So, 手 from yesterday and 公 what do we have? Shrek was outside of was in the basement of the bakery discovering a severed hand, right? And Gandalf was outside of the temple watching the monks do work with carrying crossbeams, like wooden crossbeams. That's the things.
手工
Okay, and then just handmade. Right.
工人
工人 worker makes sense. People that work and people. So they're getting to the literal stuff first, right? Here's some examples. Something. Oh. Something 家在住家 something 家都是工人
他全家都是工人，
全家
他全家都是工人
makes sense 他全家都是工人工人在工地工作
工人在工地工作，
工地工作 makes sense. The workers are working at the work site. 青年工人
青年工人
makes sense. 青年 young. Okay. Okay. We're still using Gandalf. And then Rin was Robin Hood in the infirmary stealing money for other peeps.
工人
工人 Okay.
人手
Oh, today is a complete vocab day, actually. Today's different. Usually we would work on pinyin some more. Like there's usually a pinyin involved, but so far it's 3 vocabs in a row. 人手 人手 worker with a hand, staff. Oh, yeah. Workers that have a hand to offer. Interesting. A person with a tattooed hand is part of the staff. Okay, that's a little... Alright, sure. It's very identifiable, though. 人手 like immediately I think of a kitchen, like a kitchen staff member with a tattoo on their hands. I've been watching a lot of chef like dramatizations and stuff. Typically, quite a thing. Okay, 人手. This mnemonic might not. I get, yeah. Okay, just imagine. My other mnemonic kind of overlaps with others, so like it could lap with like 小人 and 人手. So no, there is not. 这里呢？这里人手不多不高不高 that 高 or is that 多 there's 多 there 不多
这里人手不够，
不够 okay it is 够 so it took this character the right character 够 as opposed to 多 the left side 不够 this is a traditional so I'm not quite sure which one it was 这里人手my gut was saying 高 because it sounds not enough, right?
这里人手不够，
不够。这里人手不够。公司something 加了一些人手。something 加 That looks familiar, but I don't know what it's supposed to look like.
公司增加了一些人手，
增加 oh that's 增加了一些人手。
公司增加了一些人手，
人手 Why does it sound so aggressive?
公司增加了一些人手，
人手 so
公
aggressive.
司增加了一些人手，
人手 OK 公司增加的 Oh yeah 增加 yeah 公司增加了一些人手人手这个 right that's 个 right 这个哦这个项目 Wow, I wasn't expecting to use project anytime soon. It was very specific. 项目这个项目需要更多的人手
这个项目需要更多的人手，
Yeah, it's so tight. There's like so much higher 人手需要更多的人手
这个项目需要更多的人手，
Interesting. Okay. 人手 It's the flip.
人手，
人手staff
人工，
人工 Oh, man-made. So 手工人工 A work of any person is of course something that's man-made. Yes, indeed. 这是一个人工人工 lake I actually have no idea.
这是一个人工湖。
湖 Oh my gosh.
这是一个人工湖。
湖人工湖。这座这座 bridge 这座 bridge 是人工one kind of looks like 告 maybe like I don't know 被告的
这座桥是人工建造的。
建造的 OK 到gonna make sense OK 建造的哦人工建造 OK that's probably the full fat phrase for that 建造的人工建造的 and 这座 what
这座桥是人工建造的。
桥这座桥是人工建造的 OK 这是一个人工花园
这是一个人工花园。
花园 Yeah 花园 What's wrong Oh no no 花园
这是一个人工花园。
花园园 Interesting You can swap out 花 for 公 right 公园 Okay人工okay. Do I need the hyphen?
门
Okay, here's another character. I was expecting another character at some point. So men, this is a traditional character. This is actually my first traditional character. Actually. Yes, this is the first, which makes sense. Men being the first traditional character. Sure. Here are the sounds. Oh, I guess oh no, I didn't even get the component yet. Okay, so men would be, what's our M? Oh, Mario. Okay, Mario is inside the English manor doing something with a saloon door. Mario entered the infirmary. Sorry, Mario is inside the infirmary by way of the saloon door. I have no idea what they're gonna do. Let's find out.
Ma.
Okay, Ma as in Mario. Okay, the M is the name. Mario is pronounced the same as his initial, so we choose Mario to represent. Mario is a video game character that stars in the Mario franchise of video games. He's an Italian plumber and generally spends most of his time trying to rescue Princess Peach, among other things. Yeah. Mo. Mo. Is this Mo?
Mo.
Yeah, Mo. Mao. Mo. 3 moles. Okay. I know this one. This one. To bury. Last. Bone. Interesting. I'm initial.
Ma.
Okay. Saloon doors. This component looks like a pair of saloon doors. That's what you see. Okay, it's a picture. A picture. Laurel. Oh, that men. Yeah. The men. So, men. Neutral. Xiang. Xiang. When. Oh, yeah, when. Jian. Hello there. Arian. Hello. Okay. So, saloon doors. Mental picture. Self-explanatory.
Men.
Alright. So, saloon door is an entrance. That's Pretty self-explanatory. So Mario inside the infirmary dealing with something with a saloon door and entrance. Maybe the saloon door to the... There's a saloon door entrance to the infirmary. Dr. Mario is inside the infirmary, standing next to the entrance, which has 2 saloon doors, yeah. He is wearing his doctor's coat. Somebody swings in through the entrance and comes up to Mario asking for help with the sickness. Fair enough. Makes sense. 大门出门 I can't read that, but it's to close, so 关门 entrance 门票 oh 门票 and to knock on the door. Is that hit? 敲门敲门 桥 oh, so yeah, the lines are obscuring the marker. It's hard to tell if it's 1 or 3. 敲门 or 敲门. We'll find out in the future. No hurry for that. So Mario Mario inside the infirmary, right?
门
Next to the entrance with the saloon doors. Okay. Our quiz. Saloon doors. Men.
门
Entrance. 人手人手
人手
staff with a tattoo on his hand. Mario for M initial. 人工
人工
man-made. 手工
手工
handmade. 工人
工人
worker. Yep. All right. Let's do our next 5 lessons. So 10. So 10 we have Shrek. 2. So Shrek is inside the house doing something with a, which we don't have the component. Looks like they use cross as this as an overlap. So cross. It looks like a cross. Clearly a cross. No, it's definitely not a plus sign. It's definitely a cross. 10 to overcome. 克 支 needle. 针 interesting. 记 interesting. Okay. It's definitely a cross.
10
Okay. So Shrek is inside the house, freshly filled with mud and muck. Oh yeah, by his entrance because he was making a mountain of muck on the outside. There are 10 huge wooden crosses acting as a barrier to his new base. Like a barricade? Okay. Interesting. Each with a crudely drawn... Oh, so it was in front of his place. This is his house. Acting as a barrier to his new base, each with a crudely drawn sketch of Shrek on it. And a misspelled message written almost illegibly. Me swamp, keep out. Oh, that's kind of cute. It's actually kind of a reference to the movie itself. 10 wooden crosses outside. Fair enough. 20 18 6010分10分more than 10高实际实际 oh interesting and it's using that character interesting all right so Shrek inside his house with the 10 wooden crosses as a
10
barricade. Okay.
东
Dong. Okay. Wow, that's really early. We got Dong very late in cardinal directions very late in the Duolingo Chinese course. A pouch. Oh, really? A pouch. And then we have Dracula outside of the temple. Yeah, outside of the temple doing something. Okay. How do you do this? This depicts a little pouch that is tied on both sides. Oh, okay. The two drooping strokes on the bottom and the horizontal stroke on the top represents the laces that tie the pouch shut, while the middle square represents the actual stuffed pouch filled of special items. Intriguing. I didn't ever think about it that way. Intriguing, indeed. A pouch. All right. I can do that. Okay. Dong. Building. Dong. Dong. Oh, it is still dong. Okay. I was like, it might be dong. Dong. So all three dong. Chun or chun? Can't tell. Obscured by and cicadas. The heck? Oh, it's a component. Just kidding. Components don't have reads. Oh, wait. Ouch. What am I doing?
东
Yeah, don't gotta make sure we separate components from the character. Okay, so what is Dracula doing with the pouch? Dracula is in front of the temple, which is located in the east. Okay. He has flew east in search of a sacred pouch that is said to cure vampirism. Ah, it is right there in front of him in the middle of the rock garden. The east pouch of vampirism cure is finally his. Fair enough. Fair enough. Dongxi. Oh, that Dong. Oh, that's why Dongxi looks so different. Because it's not the weird. Oh, Dongxi. Dongbian. Dongfang. Whoops. Dongfang. Where's Dongbian? No, Bian? Okay. Dongnang. Dongnang. Wait, what is this? Dongshi? Dongjing. Oh, Dongjing. And Dongya. Dongya. Wow, Ya looks like a modified Tetris piece. Okay. So, Dracula was in front of the temple looking for the pouch. Oh, the pouch. A temple to the east looking for a pouch to cure vampirism, right? Okay. Cross. Dong.
东
What was it? Shrek in his house with the 10 crosses.
10
Nice. There we go. All right, we got 27 review exercises. Let's get to it. Picture. Yeah, picture. Is it N initial or is it N? Oh, it's NV initial.
Nu
New. Yes, new. Go mouth. This cowboy. There's a branding. It's a silent child in encountering a weird day, encountering a silent child. Where? Oh, it's yes.
日子
Day. Weird day. 人人
人人
日日
日日
daily, day to day. What was the mnemonic for this? Yoshi was in the basement of the electric power plant. Yoshi was in the basement of an electric power plant doing what? Oh. Yoshi was in the basement of an electric power plant that was flooded, and there were alligators in there. And then the alligators didn't bother Yoshi because he was also an alligator.
Yeah.
It's so elaborate. Who is K? Kermit the Frog was it Kermit the Frog? Kermit the Frog was in the basement of the bakery trying to shove flour into its mouth, but it just falls out.
烤
Napoleon Napoleon was locked away in a basement of a house for his war crimes, dressed up as a woman.
女
Component name alligator. Thank you, Yoshi. Legolas. I think it's just L.
le
The 不用
不用
need not. Charlie Brown is CH.
吃
And Kermit is K.
科
Chucky is Chu.
出
Chucky. Oops. Chucky is outside of the house or waiting. Oh, Chucky is. Yes, I'm aware. Thanks. That this is not the purpose of this, but thanks. It's already typed there. So the mnemonic is Chucky is outside of the house at the exit of the mountain, ready to pounce on someone.
出
Yeah, but you don't have to type it to practice, right? Because I would have to read. Then I would read it. Let's see. Exit. Auditorium. The final. The place. Not to be confused with the pawn shop.
啊
Basement is 3. This is Xena. What is Xena you doing inside the house? Or outside of the house? Oh, Xena is outside of the house with a cowboy participating in a reenactment of the Wild West.
西
佣人,
用人
佣人. Use rip. What did they use for? Oh, to delegate, right? To delegate people to work. Okay. It's a Z. It's
资
the silent child in the car.
车子
Oh. I'm gonna change the mnemonic on that. I think the mnemonic we're gonna use is to use people. Yeah, I don't want to look at them as separate. To take advantage of someone is probably to take advantage of people is probably the mnemonic I'm gonna use. This was Zelda in the basement, trapped until she was no longer a child.
子
Who do we have for CH? Charlie Brown in front of the electric power plant trying to charge their car.
车
And what was the time? Oh, it's still less than an hour. Oh, we have to go over the other stuff. Okay. So, what was our 佣人? I have to make a note of 佣人. So let's look at our new stuff. This time we didn't get more than 2 sounds. I mean more than 1 sound. So let's go over these things here as our usual method. So we have Mario has joined the party. We have saloon doors. Cross. Obvious, not a plus sign, right? Ouch. Okay. So we have entrance. East. N. To delegate. This is our this is something that I have to pay attention to. I'm gonna write to quote use people. Attach an emotion to it. 人手 人手 man-made. Oh no, not man-made. Staff. Staff. 人工 man-made. Xiaogong handmade. And 工人 worker. Okay. Now let's do our. So Mario. Oh, right. We also have to write 门 东 and 十. So Mario is inside the infirmary. Dr. Mario is inside the infirmary next to the entrance. That's our saloon doors with 2 saloon doors. And then Dong, we have Dracula. Oops. We have Dracula outside the temple. The temple in the east. In the east, looking for the pouch to cure vampirism. Then we have Shrek. Shrek. Outside the house. Oh no, inside the house. Inside the house. Oh, I guess we had to. Inside the house. Guarded by 10 wooden crosses. Right. I don't know how long it'll take me to cluster the vocabulary with these characters. I don't think it's necessary to cross it. And basically we make a asterisk. So I'm going to use as a negative connotation. So we're going to use as a negative connotation to make it consistent. Oh, there, Victor. And that's it. That's it for today. 46 minutes. That's a lot lower than... Oh, it's because most of it was vocabulary today. 3 of the lessons were vocabulary. A little bit further on the other end. Yeah. And then review is usually very quick. We try to be as quick as possible. And then mark all the weaknesses. Mark all the weaknesses too. Whenever we see a weakness, we increase the mnemonics. Yeah, use people to delegate. Use people in quotations. Yeah. Let's see. And that's it. That's the end of today. How much time do we have? Lots of time for me to work on my reviews. So so now what is the schedule like? So we know that Wanikani is taking approximately 3 hours or so on the high end. So these are the peaks, right? So whenever there's a lesson day, large lesson day, it's usually approximately 3 hours peak. It's less if I don't encounter any like discussions or anything. And then usually review days are less than 30 minutes, if not even shorter than that, right? So non-lesson days, which happens maybe like 2 to 3 days. 2 to 3 days after a lesson day, right? And then HanziHero is consistent. It's less than an hour. And any additional review is about like 3 or 4 additional review on top, which is negligible. It adds, it's matriculating, but at some point it'll accumulate past 1 hour. But right now it's approximately like 1 additional minute possibly in review as the volume is increasing, right? Because we have more and more terms to review, these numbers will add up. So consistently 1 hour. And then now we have every other day for the time being. We'll do duo JP and then duo CN for now. However, I have to prepare for a review in less than, today is, so basically a week from now. 7 days left. I'm basically using the rest of my time in the evening every other day to prep for the 100-day review, 100-day review for both of these. And the 100-day review will take 3 days each. So we'll start with Japanese starting next Tuesday. So 7 days from now, it'll be day 1 to cover hopefully 14 constructs. And then day 2, 14 constructs. And then day 3, we're going to do like a 6 constructs and then like a summary of things we've changed and we're moving forward. And then Duolingo Chinese will then follow. So we'll be taking 3 days away from Duolingo Japanese. And then do Chinese as 3 days. Day 1 will still be the same. That's the target right now. Day 2, 14 constructs. And then day 3 will also be 6 constructs. And then this would be the maintenance. We'll be focusing on maintenance because we don't have any more new content from the Chinese course. The Chinese course has ended with new content. We've reached the end So I don't know how we're gonna maintain that. Maybe we'll go back and complete the entire, like, do like legends here and like legend the whole course as a way to practice and solidify the things. But largely we're gonna be rotating something in here. Well, this is the next thing that I have to do. I have this is locked in now. So Wanikani and HanziHero takes approximately half the session now. Half the session, 4 hours. And we'll try to maintain that at all times. Next week, Neverwinter ends. So Neverwinter ends with next Monday. Monday is the last day. It's for like a couple months. And in this, once we complete this, right, this would be then the full next week. Full next week is the schedule for this. Then we will be doing, instead of Duolingo Chinese in the time, we will be doing the Chinese playthrough, MSQ, Chinese MSQ playthrough of Like a Dragon 8. Right, that'll be kind of nice. It'll probably 2 or 3 days. Then we'll do the Like a Dragon Japanese MSQ and finishing up the 100% because I'm a little bit off of the 100%. It requires 2 more playthroughs. It was intentional that I stopped after the English playthrough after a certain amount, and that's the last time we played. The last time we played was when I started Duolingo. So it's been getting close to a year, pretty much, the timing. And the reason why is after this is complete, Like a Dragon, the new Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza comes out, and we'll be starting Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza on launch day in English. So we'll have to think about how to schedule around that. And after Like a Dragon's English playthrough, we'll save again the Chinese and Japanese playthrough until the next Like a Dragon game. And that's when we introduce Duolingo Spanish, which is the final language for the time being. Yep. So right now, this will be constant. So no matter what, unless I'm out of town or going to the airport to pick up my mother and whatnot, which I'll have to do soon, actually. I think it's this Friday. Outside of that, we're going to do Wanikani and HanziHero. That's the 2025 is going to be the year of these 2 things, right? And then the rest will be rotated in and out and staggered when appropriate. Yeah. Pretty quick. Actually, it's getting really fast. If I were to simplify some of my methods are getting ironed out. So this can be dropped down to like 2 hours. And if I don't say anything and I just read most of the stuff, it'd probably take like 1 hour. 1 hour to do, I don't know, 30 to 40 lessons. And it takes about for reviews, I would say 10 minutes to do 100 review very quickly. I could kind of see why people are attracted to this type of model, right? The SRS model. You just go as quickly as possible and you trust the process. I'll probably slow this down. If I speed up some more, I'll probably add more things to it, like do more things like this kind of thing. Because the less time you spend with it, the less in my opinion, you're kind of getting less, but if you're really, really trusting the system, that's perfectly all right. I don't typically do exactly what the tool is doing, right? Anyways, yeah, that's the plan. And that brings us up to 1 hour. Not bad. I think by the end of 2025, I could see reaching pretty close to the pace that HanziHero has would be like a 2 to 3 year pace. The pace that Wanikani has, also given the numbers that they gave, like the vocab and the kanji, if I were to do this every day and meet my quota, like the streaming quota, it would be a little over a year, right? It would be like a year and 2 months based on their numbers. I don't know the exact numbers, but they're advertised numbers, right? 2,000 and 6,000. HanziHero will end up being 4,000 something, and maybe 7,000 ish. And there are 2 courses, so I would have to double check all the simplified things. But now we're on the traditional route, so I don't know about refreshing my simplified stuff. So right now we're doing traditional, which this will then span at least 3 years. So it's like 3 years for this. Wanikani is probably less than a year and a half with the pace that they've set on their SRS. And then we have lots of other things to do. Duolingo Chinese is going to be like you sprinkle it in every once in a while. You'll probably, after this review, I'll probably somehow go back in some way while I'm streaming. It doesn't mean I didn't stop using them though. Usually I'm writing, so I don't usually, for Duolingo right now, I don't actually use the actual app. I don't do the lessons in the actual app. I use their data that they show me, and I practice writing most of the days. So it doesn't use my voice too much. The problem with streaming all of this is I expect not that other people expect this. I've seen plenty of people who do like no commentary or no speaking whatsoever, or not even like interacting in any way, and then just streaming for posterity. That's perfectly fine and understandable. For myself, my standards are, if I can't speak and interact with the person, I don't stream it. And so to be clear, right, every extra time I have right now is studying. So I'm studying the 100 days of stuff, my Japanese Duolingo. So occasionally I would like eat dinner. I would do my live service games that I typically do I didn't give up my lifestyle though. My lifestyle is there, but now I'm liberating extra time to studying, because sitting here speaking through all of this studying would kill my voice. It would make it very, very difficult. Then I would get more and more exhausted. So I'll go over what I was doing for the most part in this summary when we do these things. It's a really big one, and I am absolutely confident now, as a teaser, 100 days is too long. It is way too long without an exam, or like a progress report, or a strong review. So we're going to go back to 50 days or less. 100 days was way, way too long. I reached my limit. I think right now, every time I go over a construct, I only remember like 8 out of 10 things. So it's 80%, which I like to be around 90%. 80% being I can dip as low as 80% accuracy while aiming for 90. However, it's been dipping below. It's like an 80% average. So definitely way past. These SRS though, as a comment on like Wanikani's SRS, Wanikani SRS and HanziHero's SRS, they're both very different the way they're doing it. HanziHero is incredibly approachable. It's super lenient. The volume is very negotiable, right? Very, very low volume. Wanikani is, I'm gonna say the volume. I should use a Likert scale or something. So for myself, as a reference for other people in the future, we'll put it on a Likert scale. So 0 to 1, right? 1 being my limit in volume, like how memory works and all that stuff. I would say I place Wanikani right now, even if I kept this pace the whole time. I would place it at about a 0.3. And HanziHero is like at a 0.1 right now. I imagine they're gonna go up slowly. So at some point, you know, I feel like given how fast the reviews are stacking and stuff, at some point I would expect HanziHero to reach a 0.3, which you can customize this. You can increase the number of lessons by 4 times amount for temporary, by 4 times amount. We're gonna use the default. We're talking about the default settings. I don't want to. It doesn't matter if I stray or customize it. It's the default settings. And in Wanikani, you have advanced, so you can do all the lessons even if it's defaulted. I would say once you get a lot of reviews and stacked and stuff, it could approach as high as 0.5. Not drawn to scale, sorry. 0.5. But in my life, I've had far more workload than this. Far more workload. So basically, if I turned my, like, if I don't stream the rest of the stuff, if I'm not speaking, having to prepare for projects and scheduling and staggering, if I were to focus, right, solely on this, it would take a very, very small fraction of my time. However, that's not the point of what I'm trying to illustrate. I think sometimes when you do that, you can it can become very less valued. It's not as exciting. It's not as motivating. It's not as interesting. So I chose to do it this way because it's not about efficiency for one singular task. If my goal was solely to complete these courses as fast as possible, which most people like to do, you aren't practicing a lot of other things. For me, it's streaming, coming up with stories, creating memories, right? My mission statement is to learn how to dynamically do a lot of things and maximizing a lot of your actions instead of trying to focus and hyper focus on maximizing one singular gain, right? Because when that one gain ends and or stops putting out, you would then have to go back to the drawing board to figure out how to make it even more meaningful over time. So in this case, I'm actively making my language learning more and more meaningful at the cost of being efficient. Like, I don't have to speak all of this stuff. You could choose to speak later if you wanted. I'm juggling a lot of things largely because I can do them staggered, right? I would love to give an example, which Gecko gave me an example the other day. Gecko is a father figure who is reading Pokemon shows in Japanese as a way to expose Japanese to his daughter. And at the same time, they're both participating in watching Pokemon, right? And developing exposure to something that he likes to do, which his daughter gets to witness and also participate. That kind of thing is what all of this is about, right? The idea is it seems unfocused, but it's more like organized, a balance between having many things going on and also things that are consistent. If one studies with endless consistency, then whenever something distracts you or interferes with that consistency, it can be incredibly off-putting. It can also lead to complacency, which you get into a routine in which you extract less and less from it because it becomes more and more mundane and dull and uninteresting. Now, I'm not entirely sure what type of influencers, language influencers out there, but I can earnestly tell you at least 10 out of the 12 that people like to bring up a lot, I've seen their videos to some extent, and at minimum, this particular point of making sure that you do not become complacent in using the same tool for too long as a way to forget that you're getting diminished return, oftentimes due to human nature, right? The human condition. When you use a tool in the same way consistently, you become more and more efficient. That efficiency also has a trade-off, and that's enthusiasm and like interest and attention. It becomes more and more passive. So you can choose to use the same tool for a really long time if you're using it differently, as in like it's mentally giving you different feedback, like, you know, you're using it for another reason, for other reasons. So this is how I'm doing it. I'm staying consistent largely because these activities have different meanings over time. Every 30 days, something's going to change. In the beginning, it's really rapid, right? I'm changing things and how I'm changing very rapidly. And then we'll iron it out. We'll do it for like a 30 days or 50 days, and then it will change again. So I can stay consistent enough to use a tool while not becoming lax and complacent about it. Racking through your Anki deck over and over again, doing the same exact procedure, in my opinion, it's natural, right? It's natural for humans to take shortcuts. So at some point, even that becomes diminished return. It becomes disinteresting. You start talking about it less. Not paying attention to your weak spots or your strengths because it becomes less and less interesting, right? If you drive to work every single day and you do it for 100 days and you constantly do it the same way every single day, at some point it's going to become less and less significant, less and less memorable, and less engaging. And I don't think most humans are the exception. There are rare exceptions, of course, where if you're high functioning or you have an attention deficit, for example, that can lead to possibly doing the same thing for a very, very long time and still find it novel. So oftentimes you can find like a correlation between someone who is high on the spectrum and their preoccupation of a singular thing, right? Because they're constantly snapping their thoughts with a particular thing over and over again, right? So that's kind of a way to view it as an extreme case. But I think generally speaking, even on the spectrum, you'll still see a correlation. When someone does something frequently enough, it becomes less and less interesting. So all of this, why, as a transparency of why this is necessary, my body is a limitation. However, my brain is not a limitation. The scenario that I paint myself over the 300 plus days of Duolingo is that I have discovered how long it takes, at least for Duolingo. I'm not sure about Wanikani and HanziHero yet. When I start getting to a point where mental fatigue sets in, right? And oftentimes it comes with one big question. Do you look forward to language learning? So if one has forgotten what it's like to grasp that enthusiasm that when you started learning language, then that is the outcome. This is a readout, in my opinion, one of the readouts too, if you've reached a point of diminished return in your language learning when it comes to routine. Your routine has become so static that you no longer look forward to language learning. It becomes a chore, right? Here's a mindset quote that I would say a lot of individuals say in a different way. Are you making time to study or using time to study? I don't know. That's actually a terrible way to phrase it. But let me clarify a little bit. So, making time would suggest that it is something you have to do, but you don't want to do anymore. Like, oh, okay, so all right, I have to make time for this, right? Oh man, I gotta squeeze in my studies somewhere, as opposed to, oh yeah, I have time. Like, let's get to studying because this is my free time. I want to study because when I have time, I look forward to studying, right? Like, when you think of something to do, basically, when you think of something to do, is it still studying for language learning, right? That's like the balance of stuff. At some point, when monotony and routine takes over, it's gonna feel like it's a chore. You're trying to squeeze in time. You're trying to make time to study. Don't get me wrong, you're still making time or scheduling. Like, I'm still scheduling and whatnot, but I look forward to this time. I'm trying to squeeze in, for the lack of a better word, this is where it overlaps. I'm trying to squeeze in as much language learning as I can because I want to maximize squeezing it. It's the things that I want to do. So I'm trying really, really hard because I like doing it. I still look forward to doing it. The other, which is very dissimilar, like it's contrasted to the people who say, oh yeah, I have forgotten to do this. I should have done this, but I didn't. I'm feeling lazy because I have to do this. If I don't do this, I won't reach my goal. Those are negative sentiments. Rarely do those negative sentiments come up for me. It's like, how much progress can I make? Not if I make the progress that I want, right? When someone asked me earlier today, how far do I, what kind of idea or long is my Japanese learning? My answer is I don't really know for sure because I don't pay attention to it. I keep doing the best I can every single day. So if I have 1 hour left, it could be studying. That's the way, right? Any amount of time that I can have, one of the choices is to study. If I wanted to play a video game, I can choose to study instead because studying is as rewarding as a video game. So that's kind of what I mean by making time. So I'm squeezing as much time as I can because I have so much now to do. To the point where I'm at the point where I have to remind myself, you gotta sleep and you gotta chill at some point. You gotta eat. Actually, to give you an example, I haven't felt this way in so long. When I was still working and studying for science, that was my life. Like, I constantly scheduled as many opportunities as I can. Like, oh, well, if I don't eat here, if I sleep 1 hour less, I get more work done because I like work. Not out of necessity. I just want to get ahead, progress. And that type of passion can end up being a double edge for a lot of people because they would set themselves up as expecting to do that all the time, as opposed to doing as much as you can. Some days you'll do 10 lessons. Some days you'll do 15. Some days you'll do 100. The idea is you're not doing it as an obligation to reach an expectation, but you're doing it in a sense that your enthusiasm is still maintained, right? 10 lessons should feel as rewarding as 20 lessons and should feel rewarding as 100 lessons when one has perspective on the value of their time. So, yes, you might not be able to knock out 100 lessons each day, but the difference is someone who knocks out expecting to knock out 100 lessons will expect to do that or more every single day, right? So what happens is, okay, well, if you do 101 lesson, then it will always be 101 lesson. Otherwise, you disappoint yourself, right? It becomes unmanageable. I call, in my opinion, for lack of a better phrase, I call this the YouTube effect. No. We're not going to blame YouTube. But the idea is instead of having a realistic management and a balanced mindset to expectations, it's a ever escalating expectation. So you're always doing more or expecting more. I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer. When you're learning a life skill, it in the actual reality, it's always going to decrease as you're approaching a competence rate. So your perception of progress has to adapt and change to that in order to make it sustainable and happy, right? Because when you know 0 words and you learn 10 is so much greater than 0. But then you get to like 1,000 and you learn 10 words. 10 is such a smaller number compared to 1,000. And this is the type of stuff that is all blended together, right? We'll talk more about this in the future. I've been reflecting on the whole Duolingo thing and whatnot. Just a little bit of a talk to kind of elongate some of the thoughts that I think about when I think of SRS systems, right? How's this relevant? It's really relevant to an SRS. SRS reminds you of numbers, right? Numbers, quantities, pace, progress, all these graphs, all these numbers, they will give you a sense of pushing yourself towards constantly your limit. And that limit requires a sound mindset, a healthy relationship with language, learning, and habit formation. Habit formations is fantastic when it's established and it's getting going. However, maintaining habits is another set of skills, right? There's the early days when it's super hard to start. And thank goodness, in my opinion, with apps like HanziHero, Wanikani, Duolingo, it gets people started. Starting is one challenge of its own. Not a lot of people, this is one of the tasks that people do even less, which is start things regularly. Stop things, start things regularly. That will normalize all, like help you find out how you get yourself started, right? The more often you practice starting things and stopping things, you get used to what works to start. But when you get older, you start less and less. It's harder to start new things as you consistently do something. Now in the middle phase, typically the tool takes over for you. Or you can be like me or anyone else similar in the idea, you can be creative in the consistency phase. Because the consistency phase is as consistent as long as you don't drop off into the end game. The end game is when you become disinterested. You become intolerable, and also you view everyone else's competence with cynicism, basically. And it's a lonely place, right? That's where a specialist becomes so specialized that largely they can't tolerate anyone else being incompetent because they forgot that everyone else is probably less competent than them since they've dedicated most of their life, right? It's a lonely place. It's a place that requires a mindset that other people may never want to engage in or have engaged in. For me, then that enters the last phase. It's the exit strategy, right? If you're kind of hyper focusing on a single task, what can you use it for? And for many, it would be go to Japan, go to China, talk to people, and that no longer becomes the same skill anymore. Like, it's related to your current skill. It's related to SRS. It's related to your other things. However, it's an application. Now you're developing a more dynamic skill that involves other forms of things that distills and destabilizes, right? The downside is if you focus entirely on SRS, it's going to get harder and harder to start a new thing. So what I'm doing here is I'm constantly doing new things so that I don't get settled into a pattern, which then becomes a barrier for me to tackle other things. So I've gotten this question quite a lot recently because I've already invested so much time in Duolingo. And the first comment would be, so what happened with Duolingo? Are you done with Duolingo? Are you? The answer is no. However, I have more things that I can make my language learning more dynamic, right? It increases my reach, my empathy with more people, and it doesn't have to be the best tools of all time. They have to be different tools. Different tools create that. I would wager conservatively that if there's one, I can think of 3 or 4 key points. This would want to be one of the key points that I'm making today at the end of this session. That large number of experts or people who have learned a lot of things, even language learners, you can try to do a Q&A session, go ask your favorite successful polyglot or something and ask them what do they think about maintaining consistency in habit formation when dealing with learning a language. Or you can go ask your experts who's in a multidisciplinary area, like maybe a physicist who's also interested in biology or something. The idea is this, right? This is one of the key hallmarks of relying on a singular approach for too long. It encapsulates you, it traps you, it also makes you sentimentally uninterested in your own life. And for me, I use the word life because I feel the internet, and this is the punchline, and I'll end with this sentiment. The internet is very, very efficient. It's so efficient at getting you to do the one thing you like the most that it also makes it the one thing that keeps you from wanting to do anything else. Right? So it is so good at getting you up to speed on anything you're interested in. It locks you into that. So you no longer become interested in anything else. Now, hear me out. Lately, YouTube and all the other platforms have considered, so what is a more healthier way to introduce other things because it's motivated by business, right? Now there are other people who make content and whatnot, and try to distill that in a bit. One thing, it's ironic, or maybe it's unintentional, but the one thing that the internet does super well is also double-edged, right? When you do something incredibly well to saturation, that's the thing about the human condition. Too much of something is going to imbalance, it's likely to go into imbalance something else. So yeah, will I become attached to Wanikani and HanziHero in the year 2025? No, not really. Like by the end of it, I've already said like, oh, Wanikani maybe 1.5 years to reach the end, and then HanziHero 2.5. I could end up dropping both of them or negotiating both of them by the end of 2025. I don't actually know where things go. So that's kind of a way to explain how it's okay to maximize progress and whatnot. However, becoming attached to any one thing can create a prison of its own, intellectual, figurative prison of its own. How's my day? My day is pretty good. It's ending right now, Jiao. So, 晚上好. So, hopefully your day is good. I'm about to end now and go back to like doing my writing and prepping. So, glad to hear from you. Hopefully your day is going well. Yeah, I'm wrapping it up here. It's my last sentiment. And with that said, obviously we can continue this discussion in the Discord. So feel free to continue this discussion in Discord. I'll be on Discord while I'm doing my studying and writing and prep stuff. All right, folks. More and more busy since new semester. Ooh, I kind of want to hear about what you're learning in your semester, or what you find interesting that you're able to explain to other people like me that have no knowledge about these things. I do have some topical burning questions for you in the future when I'm using like technology per se for their convenience, but not understand how they actually work. More on that later though. So let's close this off. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Thanks for listening. If you're gonna watch this later, 谢谢, right? So until next time, 下次见, right? 下次再聊吧, right? 聊吧. Yeah, I'm gonna head off. I'll be back tomorrow. Same deal. We'll probably attach Duolingo Japanese so I can do a little spot fix. And yeah, 晚安, 晚安早. I'll catch everyone later. Stay safe, stay healthy. You know, keep novelty in mind. Make your life interesting to yourself. It's a game changer. I don't say that too often, but you gotta keep your life fresh. Be interested in your own life, right? If someone asks you what you've done, I hope you're saying, boy howdy, do I have a story for you. And if there's anyone that wants to listen to that story, it's probably me. So feel free to drop by and share a tale or two. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.